I'm Samantha Cheney, and I'm a wild blueberry farmer. Wild blueberries are a very healthy fruit, and they taste delicious. We have 60 acres on my home farm. One is divided into 30 acres of sprout field, and the other one is divided into 30 acres of crop field. So the sprout year is what that is, and when there's no blueberries at all, it's just pure vegetation state, and they're developing the buds to produce the blueberries. The crop year is when the buds are actually present and they're pollinated by a bumblebee or a honeybee, and that's when they produce the fruit. The sprout year in blueberry fields is when we try to do as much maintenance as we can. And that's when we look at weeds in the field that we see. Some of them come up before the blueberries are up, and some of them come up after the blueberries are up. So that's kind of how we tell when we have to go in with our pesticides to control them. And we do a lot of our management in our sprout year, so we don't have to go on the crop year. So then they overwinter and they come into the crop year. Those plants will start to sprout and then do their thing, they'll blossom. If that's when the honeybees or bumblebees come in. If you drive by a blueberry field in the summer, you'll see a curtain of bumbles or honeybees flying around. So what they do is they land on the flower and they stick their little legs in and they rub their legs and they pick up some pollen, and then they buzz off to another one where they drop off some of the pollen that was on their legs, and that's called cross-pollination. And if everything aligns, temperature, sun, everything, chances are you're going to have a blueberry. At the end of the crop year, the plants are mowed down to force them to be into sprout year. Because of this, blueberry plants are considered annuals, but this is called a forced biannual system. If this wasn't done, they would be flowering and producing berries every year, but their crop load wouldn't be as heavy, so you'd have a smaller yield. So we do this because it gives them a year to rest, and then when they produce berries again, that way they have a bigger crop. Wild blueberries grow on a rhizome. So what a rhizome is, it's a glorified underground stem. So instead of coming straight up, they come from the base of the plant, they go underground, and then they pop up with a tiny little sprout. I think that is super cool because they just kind of shoot out in all directions and like, hey, this is awesome, I'm gonna grow here. And they just keep going and going and going. No matter what you do to them, they'll always come back. You can mow them down, they come back. You can catch them on fire, they'll come back. They're just very resilient, and they've been here for so long that you really can't help but be impressed by them. Wild blueberries grow on this side of Canada, so you'll see some in Quebec, New Brunswick, PEI, Nova Scotia primarily, and then there's some also in Maine. So they like this side of the country's climate the best. So that has to do with, the rocky soils. They are different, the plants, because they grow here naturally. So you can't really transplant them or grow them anywhere. You can try, but they won't really thrive. That's the difference between them and high bush blueberries. So high bush blueberries you can plant. They're literally a plant that you stick in the ground, and they thrive in a lot of different places like Chile and California. And there are some in Nova Scotia, but it is primarily wild blueberries.